Let's start with a tiny experiment you do every week. Last year, you bought a loaf of bread for 2. This year, it's 2.2. Your morning coffee went from 3 to 3.3. Rent? Don't even get me started. It's like it's playing a never-ending game of how high can I go? But here's the kicker. Your paycheck? It's still the same as it was 12 months ago. You're not imagining things. Your money isn't just not stretching as far, it's losing value. This isn't some random glitch. It's not a scam. It's called inflation, the quiet thief that takes a little bite out of your wallet every single year. But here's the secret no one tells you. Inflation isn't a bug in the system. It's the feature keeping the whole thing running. Today, we're going to answer 3 big questions. Why does your money keep getting weaker? Why do governments want it to happen? And most importantly, what can you do to stop it from eating your savings? Maybe one has a videos 5%. De don't hit our videos 5%, but in the 5%. First, let's kill a myth. Inflation isn't just prices going up. That's like saying a fever is just feeling hot. It's the symptom, not the disease. The real story? Your money is getting less valuable. Think of it like a video game. Suppose you have a gold coin that buys you a sword in 2000. By 2024, that same coin can only buy you a shield because the coin itself is worth less, not because the sword got fancier. Let's use real numbers. If you had 100 inches 2000, it could fill your grocery cart with milk, eggs, meat, and veggies. Today, that same 100 would leave you staring at half-empty shelves. The groceries didn't change, the eggs are still eggs, the milk is still milk. But your $100, it's like it's been watered down, weaker, thinner, less powerful. So why does this happen? Why does the money we work so hard for slowly melt away like ice on a hot day? Included in the Bordy action. The short answer? We make too much of it. Let's use a party analogy. Imagine you're at a birthday party with 10 friends, and there's only 10 slices of cake. Each slice is valuable, everyone gets one, and no one feels left out. Now, suppose the host panics and cuts each slice into 2. Suddenly, there are 20 slices, but the cake is the same size. Each slice is smaller, less satisfying, and worth half as much as before. That's exactly what happens with money. When central banks create more money, each dollar becomes a smaller, less valuable slice. And here's the modern twist. They don't even print more money anymore. Most new dollars are just numbers typed into a computer. The Federal Reserve hits a button, and suddenly, billions of new dollars exist, no printing press required. But why would they do that? Why intentionally make money less valuable? Because a little inflation is like oil for the economy. Let's say you're thinking about buying a new car. If you know prices will stay the same forever, you might wait a year, or 2, or 3. But if you know the car will cost $500 more next year, you'll buy it now. That's the magic of 2% inflation. It makes people spend, invest, and take action instead of hoarding cash like a squirrel hiding nuts. Zero inflation sounds great, right? But imagine if prices started falling. Suddenly, your 100 today is worth 110 next year. So you'd wait to buy everything, cars, houses, even groceries. But if no one buys anything, businesses can't pay their workers. Workers lose their jobs, the economy grinds to a halt. Inflation's like a campfire. A small one keeps you warm. A big one burns down the forest. The trick is keeping it just right. This isn't a new problem. Humanity has been wrestling with inflation since we invented money. Ancient Rome learned it the hard way. Their coins were once pure silver, but when emperors wanted to spend more on wars, monuments, politics, they secretly mixed the silver with cheaper metals like copper. At first, no one noticed, but over decades, coins became mostly copper with a sprinkle of silver. People lost trust, prices soared. The Roman economy collapsed under its own fake money. Fast forward to 1922 Germany. After World War I, Germany owed billions in reparations, so they printed money, a lot of it. At the peak, a loaf of bread cost 428 billion marks. People carried money in wheelbarrows. There's even a story of a woman leaving her wheelbarrow outside a bakery. Thieves stole the wheelbarrow, but left the cash. And today, Look at the US dollar. When the Federal Reserve was created in 1913, $1 could buy a full meal. Today, that same $1 barely buys a stick of gum. Over 110 years, the dollar has lost about 96% of its value. Inflation isn't new. We've just gotten really good at pretending it's under control. Here's the harsh truth. Inflation isn't fair. It's like a game where some people get a head start and others are forced to play with one hand tied behind their back. Let's start with the losers, savers. If you have 10,000 inches, a savings account earning 1% interest, but inflation is 3%, you're actually losing money. After a year, your 10,000 becomes 10,100, but it can only buy what 9,800 could buy last year. It's like running on a treadmill. You're moving, but you're not getting anywhere. Now the winners, borrowers. Let's say you took out a $200,000 mortgage in 2010. Back then, $200,000 could buy a nice house. Today, that same $200,000 is worth less, so you're repaying the bank with cheaper dollars. It's like borrowing a pizza, eating half of it, and then paying back only a quarter. Governments love this. They're the biggest borrowers in the world. Them shrink their debt without raising taxes or cutting spending. It's a quiet way to erase money they owe at your expense. Then there are the asset owners, people who own houses, stocks, or businesses. When inflation rises, the value of these things usually rises too. A house that cost 200,000 inches, 2010, might be worth 400,000 today. A stock that costs 10, a share might be 30 now. These people aren't just keeping up with inflation, they're beating it. So here's the real kicker. Inflation is a massive, silent wealth transfer. It takes money from people who save it, like your grandma, who keeps cash under her mattress, and gives it to people who use it, like corporations, investors, and governments. If inflation is so powerful, why doesn't it spiral out of control every year? That's the job of central banks like the Federal Reserve in the U.S. or the European Central Bank in Europe. Their job is to keep inflation near 2%, like a chef trying to keep a pot from boiling over. They do this with interest rates, the thermostat of the economy. If inflation is too high, the pot is boiling, they raise interest rates. Suddenly, borrowing money becomes more expensive. If a mortgage used to cost 3%, now it's 6%. So people stop buying houses, businesses stop expanding, and spending slows down. Prices cool off like turning down the heat on the stove. If inflation is too low, the pot is cold, they lower interest rates. Borrowing becomes cheap. Mortgages drop to 2%. Credit cards have lower fees, and businesses borrow money to hire more workers. Spending speeds up, and prices start to rise like turning up the heat. But here's the problem. It's not an exact science. Imagine trying to cook a steak with a thermostat that only updates once a month. By the time you realize the heat is too high, the steak is burnt. By the time you turn it down, it's raw. That's what happened in 2021 to 2022. The Federal Reserve thought inflation was temporary, so they kept interest rates low. By the time they realized it was here to stay, inflation hit 9%, the highest in 40 years. They raised rates fast, which led to higher mortgage costs, a slowdown in the housing market, and fears of a recession. Controlling inflation is like juggling chainsaws. It's possible, but one wrong move can mess everything up. So, if inflation is inevitable, if your money will keep losing value, what can you do about it? You can't stop the tide, but you can learn to surf. The key is to own things that rise in value as money falls. Let's break it down with simple examples. Stocks. When prices rise, companies usually make more money. They charge more for their products, so their stock prices go up. Over the long term, stocks have historically beaten inflation like a boat rising with the tide. Real estate, houses, apartments, or even land usually get more expensive over time. If you own a house, inflation might make your mortgage cheaper to repay and make your house worth more. It's a double win. Skills. This is the most underrated one. If you learn new skills like coding, marketing, or plumbing, you can ask for a higher salary. A raise that's higher than inflation means your income is actually growing, not just staying the same. Here's a rule of thumb. If your money is sitting in a bank account, it's losing value. If it's invested in things that make more money or make you more money, it's winning. Inflation doesn't destroy wealth, it just moves it. It goes from people who sit still to people who adapt. Money will probably keep losing value for as long as we use money. It's the cost of living in an economy that grows, changes, and moves forward. But here's the good news. You don't have to be a victim, you just have to understand the game. The next time you see a price tag go up, don't get angry. Get curious. Ask, where is this money going? What can I own that will rise with these prices? How can I make my money work for me instead of against me? Inflation isn't a thief if you know how to catch it. It's a teacher if you're willing to listen. Thanks for watching.